Hey, what's up everybody? This is Osterberg501 and today I want to go over how you're able to gear up once you hit level 60 very easily. Now this isn't going to be top tier gear, this is more so going to be decent gear that you can get pretty early on after you hit level 60 that can help you grind for all those legendaries and all those higher gear score items. And this is probably the quickest way to get items this good in the game. And it's actually pretty simple on what you're going to be doing. You're going to be farming your faction missions to get your faction tokens to be able to buy a full set of faction gear and weapons. And the spot that I like to farm at is going to be at Ebon Scale Reach, so the zone at the left side over here. And the reason for that is I think these quests are very easy. There's usually not a ton of people here. I've only seen one or two other people here that I've had to fight while doing these quests. And it's a decently quick run going to the quests and then coming back to the settlement, picking the quests back up again and going out to do them again. And I am farming the PvP missions because they give more tokens per mission than the PvE ones give. They even give more tokens than the elite PvE missions. But if you're someone that doesn't want a PvP, or if the area you're trying to farm at has too many people and you're just PvPing too much, you can just go farm the PvE missions somewhere as well. One of the main things I would look for when choosing a spot to go farm is if the missions are close to the settlement. Because at Ebon Scale doing the 3 PvP missions, when I go get them done and come back, it's usually around the time that the missions will refresh, and they refresh every 30 minutes. And also, if you want to get the level 60 gear, you will have had to rank up your faction vendor by getting more reputation by doing missions, and then you have to do a quest to get to every new rank. So you have to do a quest for Scrivener, you have to do a quest for Chronicler, Kabbalist, and then Alchemist. And I think for the other factions, these will be different names, but they will be still pretty much the same things. You get reputation, you go do the quest to unlock the next rank, and once you are at the highest rank and you're able to buy the level 60 items, you're going to come down to the bottom of the tab and you're going to buy the item sets you want by just continuously farming up these tokens. Now there's actually 2 item levels in this tier. So there are 535s and then there are also 520s. Now I think how this works is every faction has a different armor set for their 535. So the syndicates have a medium armor set that's 535, but we don't have a heavy armor set or a light armor set that are 535 item levels. So if I'm not mistaken, every faction will have a different one. So one faction will have a heavy, one faction will have a light. And if you're not that faction, you just have to buy the 520 gear score items. And that's going to be specifically for the armor sets. All of the weapons are going to be a 525 gear score. And every piece of armor and all of these weapons also have gem slots in them, and they're all epic. So they're also going to have multiple perks, so they are decently strong. Now these pieces are considered more of PvP pieces because pretty much all of them will just give you reduction in your max cooldown and you'll take less damage on critical hits. So it's not the absolute best for PvE or damage output. It's a mix of survivability and damage. But once you hit 60, this is probably all going to be pretty big upgrades for you, and the weapons all seem to be much better overall than the armor pieces in terms of the perks that roll on them, the stats, etc. And also, if you're looking at one of the sets of the armor and you're saying these aren't the stats I want, you can actually change any of the stats on the faction items. So say if we have a head armor piece right here, this has intelligence and focus, but I don't want the focus, I don't use it. So what I would do is I would buy this headpiece, you would go all the way up to the first rank in the faction vendor, so adept, and you would look at these seals, and every faction is going to have these seals. And if you read the description of them, it will tell them what you can re-roll armor pieces to. So I would get this seal right here that will roll it to intelligence and constitution. Then what you're going to do after you buy that armor piece and you buy that seal, you're going to take both of those to an outfitting station, and it's going to use the armor piece, that seal, and I think 50 Azoth, and then it's going to re-roll the stats to what stats are on that seal so you can roll to the stats you actually want. And also something else to know when getting this gear is getting this gear won't count towards that gear slot getting this high of a gear score. So essentially the basis of how gear score works in New World is crafted items and faction items don't count towards the gear score for that slot. So essentially, if I'm getting all 520 gear from this faction vendor, I can still be getting lower gear score items from killing enemies because these don't count towards that. How you actually get better gear score items outside of crafting and faction vendors is you have to kill enemies, kill bosses, do expeditions, stuff like that. And every enemy you kill, there's a chance for it to drop a higher gear score item than what you have gotten for that slot before. That's essentially the basis of how it works. So these faction items are mainly going to be to make yourself stronger so you can much more easily go farm enemies, go farm expeditions, go farm bosses to keep upgrading your gear score so you can keep getting higher and higher items. So that's pretty much the entirety of the way you're going to go about quickly gearing up to a decent gear score once you hit 60 in New World. So subscribe if you want to see more New World or other MMO videos. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about gearing up this way, and thanks for watching.
Seek forever farther, my scholar. In what manner may I oblige you? forever, Father Mascola. In what manner may I oblige you?